Okay, TNA fans, let me talk to ya. Okay, so TNA is a company that has many ups and downs each year, right? You always hear some bullshit about TNA, whether it's due to rumors or hateful fans, aka WWE fans, that are stuck in a bubble, but you always hear something negative about TNA, and that has been like that for years now, where people. TNA is probably the most hated company in all of pro wrestling history. You would think WWE is the one, but it's not. TNA gets the most hate, and that's kind of ridiculous if you ask me. But still, you kind of wonder why it is that TNA just isn't succeeding. Why is TNA always having these problems? I'll tell you why. It's because of their fans, their so-called fans, right? Let's look let's look at companies like WWE for an example. Even though I don't watch that shit, I haven't watched WWE for like I don't know how many years now, ever since 2008, maybe even 2007. But you still know what's going on in the show because you don't even have to watch the show to know what's going on because it's all over social media, especially on Twitter, right? But I gotta be honest with you, these WWE fans, for an example, look at them. They're so loyal to that company that they still buy the merchandise, go to the shows, have the WWE network. As many times as they say they're gonna cancel it, they still don't. Because they are really loyal to their product. Ring of Honor is another company, for an example, where fans truly support the cause. They buy the merchandise, they go to the shows, they buy DVDs. They really support it. Let's look at the women's promotion, Shimmer and Shine Wrestling. Same thing with them. Their fans are really behind their backs. But for some reason, that still seems to be a problem with TNA. Let me put it like this. Let's say out of the 100% of TNA fans, there are maybe 40% of their true fans, of their real fans that support them, that buy the merchandise, buy the pay-per-views, they don't stream it, go to the shows, buy DVDs, etc., etc. And the other 60%, I don't know. They're streaming it, they're downloading it, they don't buy merchandise. The only thing they do is watch it or talk about it, but if you're gonna defend TNA, don't just do it by bashing other companies or when other companies come at TNA and saying shit, you're gonna defend them, that's good. But that alone isn't enough. You need to defend them financially as well. You know what I'm saying? For an example, um, why do you think TNA is releasing certain wrestlers? It's not because the wrestler isn't good or because TNA wanted to. It's simply because TNA cannot afford them anymore. Of course, there are some wrestlers that ask for their release, like yesterday, Bobby Roode and Eric Young. They asked for their release, and my guess is that those two are just tired. That's just my guess. They're just really tired because it just ain't working. They've been there for 12 years, and yeah, not much has really changed. If not, anything has gotten worse with TNA throughout the years. They have lost so many top talent and all of that. It's just, yeah, you really start to wonder what has become of TNA. Will it still be around? Of course, it still will be around, but will it still be any good? I would say that TNA, their best year was in 2012, and of course they also had a good year in 2014 because of the New York tapings. The New York tapings are really good in 2014, and then you had 2014 was a hardcore year for TNA. We had a lot of hardcore matches, Monster Ball matches, all of that. Then Loki was still around and all the other guys. But if that all have changed. But again, like I was saying, if you really are a TNA fan, like you say you are, why don't you support the company financially? Buy the DVDs, buy some merchandise, at least go to the shows. I can't go to the shows. I live all the way in fucking South America. You don't know how badly I would want to go to one of these pro wrestling shows. You don't know how badly people in Australia or the UK would want to go to the shows, and you don't. It always blows my mind when people tell me they don't go to this venue or that show. You live in America and there are all these venues, all these shows, EDM shows, metal shows, Comic Con and you don't go. You have no idea how much us people from South America, Australia or the UK would want to be in your place just to go to the show. Like holy shit. Okay. But as I was saying, the TNA fans, TNA lies in your hands. The fate of TNA lies in your hands. You need to support them financially because TNA isn't making any money. That's why they can't get better sound quality on the show. They can't get a better production team or creative team. That's why they can't get better wrestlers because the better wrestlers ask a lot of money. And if anything TNA is short on, then that is money. And they need money. They need your money. By doing so, you're gonna have to buy the pay-per-views, buy some DVDs, buy some merchandise, anything you can to help the cost. Okay, don't just sit and watch or give your opinion on it. Yeah, TNA is great. I am a TNA fan, but you don't really support the company financially. You don't buy anything. Are you really a fan? I mean, you are, but are you truly a fan? Do you help the cast? If you are a fan of, I don't know, Taylor Swift or whatever, aren't you gonna buy at least a CD or something to truly show that you are a fan of Taylor Swift or whatever artist it is? So that's basically what I'm trying to say here. TNA isn't going to succeed, TNA isn't going to climb the ladder or go any higher if they are short on money and they need your money to do that, TNA fans. What the hell are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? I did a video of the Jeff Hardy DVD. I bought that. I recently bought the AJ Styles Essential Disc. I bought a t-shirt along with it. I have other two TNA t-shirts. I have that banner, the Christy Hammer banner. Of course, I buy the pay-per-views. Speaking of pay-per-views, I think TNA also needs to start doing internet pay-per-views because that is a lot easier. No cable needed. It's just you go to the site, you pay it, and you can stream it live. And it's a lot cheaper as well. TNA really needs to start doing internet pay-per-view because not a lot of people have cable television. If you don't have cable television, you don't have the channel, then I understand. I completely understand. I get it. Then you're gonna stream the pay-per-view or stream the show or download it. Totally fine. But if you do have the cable, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people should have because cable isn't all that expensive anymore like it used to be back in the days. But if you do have the cable, buy the pay-per-view. For an example, these one night only pay-per-views, I'm pretty sure not a lot of TNA fans or pro wrestling fans in general have seen these one night only pay-per-views. So when there is a one night only pay-per-views, buy it. Or at least the DVD when it comes out. You're missing out because some of these one night only pay-per-views are really good. I mean, the Joker Wild from last year, that was really good. That was a really good pay-per-view. They also have this World Cup thing they have now sometimes at these one night only pay-per-views, and you also get to see the wrestlers they bring in that do a one night only show, which sometimes they hire because the one from last year they had Dalton Castle, which blows my mind because TNA and Ring of Honor kind of have this beef going on simply because of this John guy. They really need to fire that asshole. But Dalton Castle did a one night only pay-per-view show in case you don't know that. Dalton Castle is a really good wrestler and is getting a big name in Ring of Honor right now. That guy is on fire right now in Ring of Honor. So I can definitely see them put the World Heavyweight Champion on that guy's shoulder, but you're really missing out on these pay-per-views. They're doing like the Joker Wilds, the one night only pay-per-views, and the knockouts. They had the knockouts pay-per-view last week or the week therefore. I don't know when. I still need to watch that. I hope it's on video on demand so I can still watch it. So that's what I'm talking about. You're missing out if you're not buying these pay-per-view or watching them. Support the company financially. Help the cause. By doing that, with money being in the company with a good income, TNA can do a lot more as well. Because if they are short on money, they won't be able to do much. You're gonna have to release certain wrestlers. They're gonna have to lower the product's value. And what do you think will happen? People won't watch because in their eyes it's gonna be boring. Another problem with TNA is, well, this is actually pro wrestling fans in general, is that I've noticed that no matter what TNA does, TNA can have the best year ever. There are still going to be so many people that will hate on TNA no matter what they do. That's just a stigma TNA has built on themselves for the past few years now. They can do whatever they want. They can bring in the best. They can even bring in a Bullet Club and still people would hate on it. Still people won't watch it. So that's kind of another problem that TNA has and will have for quite for the next few years. So that, and which is sad because TNA, they haven't been that good lately because Austin Aries isn't in the show anymore. A lot of people have been gone. You know, the product has been really, the quality has been really low and this and that. So it's kind of sad to see TNA in a place where they are now because they were really good back in the days. Like I said, when all the wrestlers were still in the business, the Motorhead Machine Guns, all these guys, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, Loki, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, you name it, all these guys are now gone. So what's left for TNA? And in order for TNA to make it again what it was, they need money. It's always going to end up on money. How much money does the company make in order to do more for the fans? If the fans itself don't do more for TNA by buying the DVDs, t-shirts, going to the shows. So it's all up on you, man. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm trying really hard to support the company in any way I can, buying merchandise, the shows, the pay-per-views, etc., etc. It's not easy, but I'm trying because I am a TNA fan. You and I both want to see TNA do good, don't you? So why don't you help the cause? Let us together help TNA become what it should be. We're not gonna say it should be better than the other products or whatever. Those companies speak for themselves. They're doing just fine. This is about TNA right now. This is about you. I'm talking to you, the 60% of TNA fans right now, because the 40% is already doing what they're doing, which is supporting the company financially. I'm talking to the 60% right now, which is you. What are you doing? Help me. Let us help the company. Buy merchandise, buy the DVDs, buy the pay-per-views. It may seem difficult or a lot, but it isn't actually. It isn't that expensive. I mean, come on, if you can buy other stuff. I even see TNA fans with WWE merchandise. I actually, in fact, I see more people with other companies' merchandise than TNA's merchandise. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, the so-called TNA fans. Of course, you can be a fan of all the companies. That can be the case too, which it probably is, but this is strictly to the only TNA fans because there are people that only do watch TNA and nothing else. People that only watch WWE fans, which you all know are the ridiculous ones. That there are people that only watch independent wrestling. For instance watch TNA Independent Wrestling and Lucha Underground, even New Japan. You know, New Japan is doing good as well because their fans are behind their back, like I was saying, but with TNA, it's a stigma, it's a problem. And that problem won't change unless the other 60% of TNA fans starts doing what I'm talking about right now, which is supporting and defending the company financially. Let's say, for instance, McDonald's is known to have the best burgers on the planet, right? For an example. And for some reason, people aren't buying the hamburgers anymore, right? Regardless of the hamburgers being so damn good, but people just aren't buying it anymore. What do you think will happen? One, they will make less hamburgers, they will start to sell less hamburgers, and two, they will start to fire their personnel. And that's kind of the thing with TNA. the situation with TNA right now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? If they aren't making any money, they can't pay the wrestlers enough, so they're gonna either cut their money or release the wrestlers because they can't afford them anymore. So it's all up to you, man. The problem isn't even Dixie Carter. Speaking of Dixie Carter, people need to leave that fucking woman alone. Seriously, leave the woman alone. Dixie Carter could be tweeting something that doesn't even have to do with wrestling. She could be tweeting or posting on her Facebook page happy birthday a certain person, and you have these idiots that will always comment something negative. Leave the woman alone. We all know she isn't all that great when it comes to wrestling. Her knowledge is she has very little knowledge. We know that. We already get it. We get it. Leave the woman alone. That is why she has a production team and a creative team. Leave the woman alone, please. She has nothing to do with this. It's not even the creative team their fault. It's not even Dixie's fault. It's not the productions team fault. This is the fans their fault because they're not putting any money into the company. Hello? TNA isn't making any money because of you. What are you doing? You want TNA to bring in better wrestlers. They need money. Your money. You want TNA to have better sound, better cameraman, better stages, arena. Do you want them to bring the pyro back for the wrestlers? They need money. Your money. You want them to make better t-shirts designs? They need money. Your money. You TNA fans, pro wrestling fans. And if you're not doing that, then you won't get any of that. You won't get a Bullet Club in TNA because they ask a lot of fucking money. You won't get a Okada in TNA, which he has been in TNA before, but look how that ended up. That's also another thing TNA needs to work on, the way they treat their wrestlers and what they do with the wrestlers, because sometimes I do agree that TNA does a lot of dumb shit, but that's a different story. But this is just a financial thing, a financial problem with TNA, man. If you don't know that by now, then you're probably sleeping or you don't really care for the product like you say you do. So TNA's fate lies in your hands. The 60%. The 40% is already doing their part. I'm doing my part. I'm trying very hard to do my part to support the company financially as well. Look at Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground is on fire right now because they're fans. Lucha Underground has sold a lot of merchandise for that short time they have been around. Look at the Bullet Club merchandise. You see Bullet Club merchandise almost everywhere, which I don't see. Those Bullet Club t-shirts don't impress me. They're so basic, and everybody has them. But look at that. They're making a lot of money out of the t-shirt. Young Bucks is living life right now. Those motherfuckers don't even need the WWE in all honesty, because their fans put so much money into them. So what you gonna do? So it's all up to you TNA fans, and that is just a fact of life.